Hey, True Believers. Chris Mack coming at you with Suicide Squad number 2. This is the new arc. We've already gone over number 1. And number 1 for me was absolutely fantastic. This one, there's some good moments, but there are definitely some parts that really numbed my brain. And we'll get into that. But as you can see, very nice dynamic cover. Love how Superboy is just holding a Joker-riddled Peacemaker. And then we'll get into this character, because this character I've not seen in a long time, and I'm very happy to see her. Even though her personality is not the same as I remember. So with that said, jumping in. As I said in the last review of issue 1, I was talking about how this book kind of goes back to Peacemaker's Charlton Comics origins. And with that, I even like that they kind of kept the art style in his memories. So he says, Arkham Asylum, mission of report. Current status, FUBAR. My name is Christopher Smith. I used to be a diplomat. I came to DC in pursuit of one thing and one thing only, peace. And when I couldn't find it, my new life began. Peacemaker isn't just a name, it's my mission. Whatever it takes, whatever the costs. And then you see our modern rendition of him, very dynamic, very gorgeous piece, and he goes, there will be peace. And then you open up to this gorgeous splash page, yes, and he goes, or there will be death. And you can just see that Talon and Peacemaker are up against everybody in Arkham Asylum. Because last issue, the team was supposed to get Talon out because Amanda Waller needs him. He lost everybody. And so, as you can see, he's getting quite overwhelmed. And he's asking Waller for backup. Let's see where we need to go from here. Hold on. And there's kind of in a sense, a ticking clock, because there's Joker gas seeping into the asylum. No one's really answered where that's coming from. Everyone thinks that the Joker's behind it, but again, no one's really said yay or nay on who was responsible for this. Now, the backup that Peacemaker gets, it's an interesting team. We get Connor Kent, Superboy. What's this guy's name? Mind Warp. Colibra, I think is how you pronounce her name. This guy's name's, they just say Jason Phillips. And then the girl on the cover that I was talking about, Nocturna. If y'all kind of remember, towards the latter end of Crisis on Infinite Earths, when Batman was running, and I think after 2, I always get a little confused how many of you guys can remember. But Nocturna was kind of a love interest of Batman. Yeah, she was sort of a villain, but I remember her being more of a thief and kind of subverting people, but essentially she was a vampire. And at this time, there was a custody battle for Jason Todd with Bruce Wayne, and Nocturna for a while ended up getting Jason. And so Bruce kind of had to court her in a sense to get Jason and for him to go out on patrol with him as Batman and Robin. And I always thought she was a very interesting, tragic character, and I was always saying, man, it'd be great to see her back. And I am, don't get me wrong, I'm happy to see her in this book, but her personality is not what I remember. Now, with that said, another thing that I do want to point out, again, they use these boxes to introduce the characters. So, for example, Superboy, aka Who Cares, Bastard of Science, clone from Superman and Lex Luthor, absolute waste of space. Mind Warp, aka Peter Howard, true psychopath, has the ability to manipulate people's minds. Waller lined my helmet with material that blocks him from harming me. Powerful, but untrustworthy. So you can see how Peacemaker has sort of dossiers on all these people before they help him. Nocturna, aka Natalia Metternich, I think is how you pronounce it, some kind of low-rent vampire. No regard for human life. Perfect for this mission. Now I say that to say this. there's been a few in the few years now where they have those text boxes. They'll be like, this person, introducing this person. He's cranky. He likes waffles. He. LOL, so random. And I'm glad that they don't use that here. They use Peacemaker's, militaristic style to just be like, okay, this is what I know about this person. I don't care about this person, and since this is sort of a FUBAR mission with people we could throw away, like Nocturna, for example, perfect for the mission. Just very clear cut in that regard. Now, before we go any further, this is the second part of Assault on Arkham. Robbie Thompson script, Eduardo Penencia doing pencils, Julio Ferreira doing the inks, Marcelo Manolo doing colors, Wes Abbott doing letters. Here's everyone else working on the book. Now, this Colbera, she's the one that kind of makes my brain numb. Because she goes, no more killing. Tell it to the dead guy Waller handed me before we left. Actually, tell her I hate her, and I think she should let me go. Actually, never mind. She's listening to everything I just wanted to say. JK, boss, you know I love you. So funny. Not. But again, I never remember seeing Nocturna kill people. And here she is just slashing the shit out of people. I don't remember her being this violent. So that's what I mean by her. To me, her personality seems like a complete 180. And I do like that we actually get a moment with Batman in this book. I was like, yes! Because Waller's talking about, Peacemaker says, appreciate the backup, Waller, but what's with the corpse? Not a corpse, a replacement. Cobb was listed as a John Doe. So we replaced him with an actual John Doe from the morgue. We can't have anyone missing from Arkham. Not now. Not now that there's and then it leads off into a detective on the scene. And so Batman's aware of what's going on in Arkham, and the police, or the security is like, you're under arrest. There are still people alive in that inferno. Shoot me if you want, but I'm going to save them now. Just very much in character for Batman. Now again, Colbera. Wow. Love what Cobb did with the place. Real stable vibes here. Can't wait to be forced to live with this totally normal human. We should set up cameras. Psycho Real World would be a hit and get me one letter closer to EGOT. I think you're really going to love it here, Smiley. Moving on. There's always going to be that one character, like, for example, the Rebirth Suicide Squad. When it started out, it was awesome. I wish I could remember the name of the writer, but I can't. But I don't know if he just stopped caring or what happened, but Captain Boomerang just became a pop culture spewer. And it dates the book. And it just got really boring because of it. And so that's why when I see people doing that kind of pop culture stuff, I'm like, be careful that how that sometimes can help enhance a book, but sometimes can date a book. So just be careful. Now, I'd like to know if you guys know if you've been keeping up with a lot of this, what is this called? Infinite Frontier, whatever it's called. When the hell did Waller get a hold of Superboy? Which, it's interesting. I'm glad to see him here. Connor's always been one of my favorite characters. But Vampire Nocturna is starting to kill people. He's like, I said, no more killing. And so even though he's part of the Suicide Squad, essentially, he's still trying to stop these psychopaths from killing one another. Now, there was something I wanted to reference. I can't remember where it was. It's been one of those days. Let me see if I can find it real quick, guys. Stand by. I just have not had enough coffee. Life has just been busy. There's this rant that Peacemaker goes on about psychopaths, and I think it's at the beginning. Whew, okay, hold on. Here we go. Here we go. There it is. So when he's getting overwhelmed, he's talking about how he's glad that kind of him and Waller have the same motives in terms of peace, even though Waller's a little more dark and insidious about it. He says, I don't mind working with psychopaths. They're hard workers. What I need right now are more psychopaths. And so that's when Waller sends him the backup, but she sends in Connor thinking that he's ready. And so Waller's saying, we gotta go, the objective's done. But Connor's like, no, we have to get these people to safety. That's not the mission, son. I'm not your son. You're not anyone's son, son. Now, the thief guy, I can't remember his name, that's kind of how forgettable he is, but the thief that says he's seeking redemption, right here in the middle of this Joker gas, he takes his mask off and gives it to one of the guards. We can help these people. We just need time. And you're just kind of like, wow. You know, that's very noble, but you have to kind of think about what's going on. And for me, that was a very heartfelt moment, very tragic in a regard. But needless to say, at the end of it, Waller gets what she wants. There's a whole lot of death. And as you can see, a whole lot of action. Now, this isn't like the world's smartest book ever. You know, like this isn't like a Denny O'Neil or a Chris Claremont, etc., so forth. But it's interesting. The action's great. There are some great moments of dialogue. Except this. Waller says that, like the way she takes out Superboy is there's kryptonite coursing through his body. He's like, I need Colbera's strength to inject it. And she goes, oh, you want me to Uma Thurman the Boy Scout? Pulp Fiction reference. So funny. This character either needs to A, go away and not come back, or B, the pop culture references need to stop, because there's a lot of shows out that are popular, but they grind my gears, because instead of being a show that can stand on its own merit and bring you in like all the old shows that we love, they're like, hey, pop culture reference, do you remember this? Do you remember this? Hey, do you remember this? And it just kills it. So this character really started slowing down the book for me because of the pop culture references. So that's why I say either she needs to go away or her personality needs to change. But anyway, what keeps it going is definitely these two, Connor and Peacemaker. You know, Connor's saying, those people, we could have helped them. Thanks to you, 2 of your teammates are dead. And so I like this powder keg that we're getting between these two. Connor saying, I didn't sign up for this squad. If I can help, I will. And you can't stop me. So he says, back off. You nearly cost me my first mission as head of this team. And since I'm still in charge, and you still got that jolt running through your body, let me make my message as your commander perfectly clear. And just look at how the artwork just gets very dark, very noirish. The absence of the pupils of Peacemaker. Bam! That is how you lead up to a gorgeous piece of art, full page like that. And I mean, at first I was like, is that an ear? But no, it's supposed to be his cheek and show how strong Peacemaker is. So this right here, the dynamic of Peacemaker as the leader, the way he does not care about how disposable his team is. He kind of reminds me, and that's one thing about this book, this issue. It's like, well, what the hell's going on with Rick Flag? Because, spoiler alert if you didn't see the first review, so go get the books and then come back. Rick Flag is being detained by Waller because she wants to create this Task Force Z, and that's why she's starting to get superheroes, not just the scum that she has there in Belle Reve. And Flag won't stand for it. And that's another thing that I'm thinking is really interesting about this. It's a different take, something new, kind of reinventing the book to a degree, and that's why I'm on board. And then the artwork, flipping fantastic. So guys, this was Suicide Squad number 2 from this new Infinite Frontier, whatever that's supposed to mean. I really don't care. When it comes to events and major stuff like that, just give me a good story any day. As long as it makes sense. And like I said, there's some slow points with that Colbera character, just because of the bad pop culture references. But still, it was a treat to see Nocturna back. I love Talon. I love Connor Kent. And then, of course, Peacemaker has kind of become a breakout character for me since the movie, which, whatever. I'm liking to go back and try to read his comic origins, which, very interesting in those regards. So Suicide Squad number 2, awesome read, great art. If you've enjoyed it, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and see if you can find a copy. If you have enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little squad bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love chit-chatting and hearing your feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.